If two comedians become presidents, the world should be ready for dark comedy. It is bad if a poor person is caught between two powerful fools. Officials told Zelensky before the presser that the Trump team would make you angry. You should not be angry. Zelensky soon realized that he would be remembered in history for this press conference. The top officials of European foreign policy want a new leader of the free, as the U.S. guarantee has expired. There is a celebration in Russia, and former President Zelensky is being called a pig, and Trump is being called who caged the pig. Russia has this press conference, the biggest victory after the collapse of the Soviet Union. What else is a despicable act than helping a weak person and repeatedly asking him to say thanks and apologize? Food was ready at the White House, but Marco Rubio told the hungry Ukrainian team that it could go. Welcome to Wild Things, an epoch-making press conference to be remembered for decades, for making friends blush and enemies celebrate. You must have rarely seen it. Donald Trump got the viral clips of his liking from it, which was the maximum he desired. Before the presser, the Ukrainian team repeatedly told President Zelensky that Donald Trump and his team will make you angry, but you should not talk about anything other than the mineral deal. Zelensky may have tried to stick it out, but when the train derailed, the whole world saw how bravely the president of a very small, defeated country, Ukraine, defied the three bullies. We tell you the whole story. On February 28th, around 1 p.m. in the White House, U.S. President Trump invited Ukrainian President Zelensky for a deal. An open media briefing was held at the White House before the discussion of the deal points. Donald Trump's entire buttering team was also present in this press conference held in the Oval Office. Donald Trump, in his hitherto 45 days in office, has spoken the most on the phone to Russian President Vladimir Putin. These range from 90-minute-long calls to messages with emojis. Donald Trump repeated in the presser that he spoke to Putin countless times and did not tell when he talked last. A relationship vibe is clearly visible between the two. So, the whole knows, and Donald Trump clearly stated to get the war stopped without any face saving to Ukraine. The Ukrainian president was called to first brief him on the talks held with the Russian president over several weeks to take him into confidence on that, or he be forced to accept its content. Secondly, talks with Zelensky be held over the rare earth minerals to the U.S. in exchange for some security guarantees, because the United States is now ready to give security guarantees to its old partner if it gives control to the U.S. over its precious minerals, lithium, graphite, titanium, cerium, etc. It is called colonialism, to capture the resources of a country without any honorable deal with it. But perhaps colonialism is now a new reality hidden in the word deal. So these were the two matters for which they were called. A few days earlier, Donald Trump, using his vocabulary of 250 words, called Zelensky a failed comedian and a dictator. Whereas in American official policy, Putin is a dictator and Zelensky is a democratic leader who has imposed official martial law during wartime, as Britain did during World War II. But Trump is calling him a comedian and a dictator because he doesn't like Zelensky at all. Anyway, a person like Donald Trump likes the friendship of the strong and the bowed neck of the weak. In this atmosphere, the meeting between Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and President Zelensky began. At the outset, Vice President J.D. Vance praised his boss, Trump, saying diplomacy can stop the Ukraine-Russia war. And our President Trump is the only person who can do it, and is providing this great service to you. Before him, there was a president who talked a lot, but had zero action. He also directly mocked Ukraine, saying, if Russia had been engaged instead of a war, this war would not have happened. From this point, the atmosphere of the press conference began to deteriorate. Zelensky asked the vice president, what kind of diplomacy? What kind of diplomacy could we have done to stop the war? Now, even Donald Trump did not have the answer to it, let alone his deputy. Diplomacy that does not lead to war, he gave a cheeky reply. At this, Zelensky must have thought, now is the time to teach tuition. He leaned forward and said to Vance, look, we have been doing diplomacy with Russia for 8 years, from 2014 to 2022. During this time, Barack Obama was the president in America. Then Donald Trump came. Then Joe Biden came. But at no time did the attacks stop on us. We lost Crimea, the eastern part, and now 4 major regions are under Russian control. But in those 8 years, our leaders, and once myself, signed a ceasefire peace deal with President Putin. But Putin did not stick.